live, I'll just repost that same post.
Okay, we are live now. Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to Pokeword. This is Kristen speaking, and I'm thrilled to have Parkman and John with us today. And because it's during Christmas holiday and New Year's coming, and but Kylix, is one of the promising, is one of the decentralized future project, right? And you already delivered the mile 2.
Two by
Um,
two.
yeah, uh, and the T and your project is gearing up for the TGE and very soon, so it's perfect time to have the exclusive interview, with you guys and help the community members to know better and deeper to your project. So I think first part, and I would invite two of you guys to briefly introduce yourself to our audience. How
Sure.
about, yeah, we start from John.
Okay.
Gianluigi.
Yes, Gianluigi. First of all, actually, thanks a lot, Chris, to having me here. And yes, my name is Gianluigi. I am one of the co-founder of Kylix Finance, together with Pacman. About myself, I used to be working mostly in the fintech space and traditional finance, everything related to banking and all the products, financial products related to lending, credit lending, and non-performing loans. I had always a lot of experience anyway with crypto. Several years that I've been working in crypto as well, and for me it was pretty natural to come up with a product that was joining traditional finance and of finance with crypto. And it's notoriously it's everything related to the DeFi space. So after Polkadot Blockchain Academy that that I did in January of 2024, I decided with a group of people to create a Kylix, a new lending platform for Polkadot.
Okay, you jump from the traditional lending protocol to the Web3 lending protocol. Is there some big gap between these two from mindset?
Yes. No, there is extremely big important difference in the fact that mostly in traditional finance you always bump into under collateralized loans because you have actually the possibility to understand the person the user who wants a loan, because you have information about the person. You can understand through certain passes through certain steps like KYC or analyzing the credit bureaus or even analyzing just the bank transaction of a person. You can understand very much of where the person lives, how is his economical situation, and you can essentially create somehow easily a risk profile of the user. This is not possible with blockchain because blockchain, you don't know the person who is on the other side, the person who is working, or actually who's using your service behind a wallet or behind an account. So the only, let's say, one of the way to ensure that you can provide a loan to a user in a secure way is to over collateralize it. So the user needs to provide some asset that cover the risk of not repaying the loan. And this is the biggest difference. In traditional finance, you can see over collateralization in mortgages. Generally, a user put his own house as a collateral. So if he's not able to repay the mortgage, the bank or the financial institution just take the house, as a repayment for the loan, for the debt that the user is not able to repay back. But this is generally this work for very big amount of money. Generally, when you ask for a smaller amount, all the credits are under collateralized. And in traditional finance, there is always, let's say, a risk that the bank or the financial institution is supporting. I mean, they have always a percentage of default rate in all the loans that they provide. Generally, this default rate is covered by the revenues that the institution anyway are doing, providing to the user that actually repay back the loan. So this is the biggest difference between a loan in traditional finance and a loan in the decentralized world.
Yeah. So how long does it take for you, to transit your mindset transition, from Web 2 to Web 3? You are like, oh, it's Web 3 is a brand new place and it's amazing. I want to throw away the old stuff quickly and jump into the new world very fast, or you have a very hard time or a long time to transit from these two different worlds.
Okay, no, that's a good question. Well, you had in the past I used to work as a CTO. So as a developer, I'm still a developer myself. I like to code, especially Rust. So I mean, for me, it was not that hard to jump into crypto. It was hard anyway to deal with some DeFi protocols that are very complex to use. And I think here there is a lot of improvement that it can be done, and that's what we want to do with Kylix, to provide a form of DeFi that is easily accessible to user, even if they don't know very well or take complex topic like lending or Web3. I have to say that probably the hardest part, yes, was for me to understand the complexity behind these DeFi protocols, lending or even exchanges, lending pools. But besides that, I mean, for me, it's a passion. So I've been always been able actually to by curiosity to get into these protocols.
Yeah, it's very logic to transit from the traditional and the Web3 lending. So how about you, Parkman? Your journey to Web3, and you just you are co-founder of the Kylix, and the announcement was made last month. And please tell us your story about that.
It's quite a good story. But first of all, thanks very much, Christian. I really appreciate your work that you're doing. I've followed your journey for a long time. I see, you're very bullish on Polkadot and its adoption. So you're doing a great job. So I want to appreciate that. Everybody listening, they should follow Polka World and they should follow the Christian's journey as well. And thanks very much for organizing this. My journey, before Web3, I was a businessman for about 10 years. I had my own IT business. Then I got in, I started, learning about blockchain, and like everybody else, I was just in it at the start for Bitcoin because everybody heard about Bitcoin. Then I discovered Polkadot, and that was like a light bulb moment for me, because Polkadot was like, even from the early days, if you listen to Gavin's interviews and his vision, always has been one of the best. Like he knows, what it's going to be from 10 years from now, 15 years from now. He can see that it's like almost he can see the future, and he's not bothered about having like short-term goals. He's basically working on like long-term, where we're going to see the blockchain in 10 years, 15 years from now. And that was for me like a very big motivation to be like one of the very kind of keen people to follow Polkadot and have this kind of this passion towards it. So I started, basically like my blockchain professional career was just basically started with community, marketing and programs and stuff. But more I learned about Polkadot, especially the substrate, and it's just it's just mesmerizing, so it's very nice. And then talking about Kylix, then I've always like, since I got into blockchain, I used to like discover new projects, look into and see what they do, what problem they're trying to solve, and what kind of what they bring to the table. DeFi has always been, because I had a business background, DeFi has always had like a spot in my head, because I always wanted to. I love the idea of having like a collateral, and then you can borrow against it, and you can basically reinvest that money, and you can basically your money makes you money. You don't have to do a lot. And previously, I've had some bad experiences as well with some previous DeFi protocols where they got hacked and they've had issues and things. So now when I discovered Kylix, this was like kind of love at first sight for me, because it was just it kind of ticks all the boxes for me, especially thanks to Polkadot substrate technology. Now we're talking about going not just limited to Polkadot, but like having Shui, Solana. And I feel like overall DeFi experience for a user can be really, really enhanced and can be much better when that it is now, even in Polkadot or Solana, wherever it is, it can be a lot better, especially in terms of liquidity and, like lending and borrowing, protocols. One of the main things is that now when we're talking about building this I don't see a lot of other projects making the same kind of having the same features and like what we're trying to do here. So I think short term, yes, it sounds very ambitious, what we're trying to do, but like long term, I'm actually very satisfied and I'm actually excited to like kind of deliver this protocol that we're actually talking about. And that makes me very bullish alone. I know, like I'm the co-founder, so I'm meant to be saying all these things, but I'm not just saying for the sake of it. I'm actually very, very bullish on it because, again, from somebody who's just who's always been on this side of the team, and then that's different. But for me, because I was a community member before I was anything else, so I've had these first-hand experiences. I've had this kind of like looking at the projects and thinking like how can it be better, and how you can make a user's experience much better for other people. And now being on this side, being able to actually control that user experience and kind of give it a direction where I know that what people are expecting to see. I'm actually very excited about fast forward a year from now and see where we are. So sorry for a long answer, but I just wanted to make sure that I answer your question properly.
Yeah, I love your introduction, but I noticed that you are kind of in charge of the ambassador program part of. Could you tell us about this part? Because that means that you are very important to Polkadot ecosystem. That's gonna help Kylix a lot. So please tell us this part.
I wouldn't say important because that makes you feel like you think you're better than others. That's not what my intention is at all. Basically, I will be helping with ambassador program and Polkadot with like marketing and social media, and that's because I was given this role because I have very good experience. Aside Kylix, I have a marketing agency where we do help other projects with their marketing, with their ambassadors and things. So this is something I've done for a number of years. And I've like any of our clients, for example, any of the people that I've worked with, they give a very glowing review of like how that has been done previously, and that's the reason I was given this role, not because I was important. That I don't want to feel like I'm full of myself. So in terms of that role alone, yes, definitely it will help Kylix, but the plan is not just to help Kylix. I don't want to be biased here. So any parachain, there are projects that I worked with previously or I haven't worked with previously. Well, the plan is to like have ambassadors encourage. For example, I don't want to go into details because we're still working on, because we're going to have, we're still in early stages of discussing the plans and stuff. But my plan is to have, let's say 1 week you can talk about project A and project B and project C. So like we will basically promote all the projects on Polkadot, all the parachains, on all the app chains as well, roll-up chains. And the reason for that is because I want to make sure that when there's a new project like Kylix, for example, or any other project, and they're thinking of launching, choosing a layer 1 protocol, I want to make sure that Polkadot is the most attractive option for them. And it's not just in terms of technology. We all know technology is amazing, so it's not the technology, but in terms of like community, the ambassadors, the overall kind of the positive vibes, the welcoming atmosphere that should come across, where they know like if we launch on Polkadot, we will instantly have like a very supportive community. We'll instantly have support from other parachains. We'll instantly have like important people from the ecosystem. So like they feel like they're not just launching on a project, but they're actually joining a family, which is Polkadot family. So that's my plan.
Okay, amazing. Okay, let's talk about Kylix. The first part, when I learn about the Kylix, and the first part caught my attention is that no bridge. How come a lending and borrow protocol can achieve this without bridge and without wrapped tokens?
Actually, thanks for the question, because actually this is the central part of our unique selling proposition. To explain how do we work without bridges, I can make an example of how a centralized exchange works. Let's take, for example, you, Kristen, that you want to swap some tokens, let's say Polkadot tokens, for, I don't know, Cardano tokens of Binance token. So we have two different chains, okay? In the moment you wanted to do this swap on Binance or Kraken on a centralized exchange, you actually deposit some tokens in this exchange. Then you ask the exchange to make a swap, and then you withdraw the tokens, your new tokens, in another wallet, essentially. So you do essentially two on-chain operation, one for depositing and one for withdrawing. In the moment that there is a swap between Polkadot tokens and let's say Ethereum tokens, the exchange doesn't do any on-chain operation. It's just swapping to value inside an internal database. And that's how Kylix works, but in a decentralized way. So we essentially replicate the behavior of a centralized exchange, but on-chain. In order to achieve this, we have some liquidity pools or liquidity vaults that are deployed in every chain that we want to support. We want to support Cardano, we have a liquidity vault on Cardano. We want to support Solana, we have a liquidity vault on Solana. Kylix stays at the center between Solana and Cardano vaults, okay? It gets notified that the deposit has been made and a withdrawal has been executed. But all the lending logic is abstracted and is handled inside the Kylix hub. So Kylix works as an orchestrator. And the Kylix knows that we have a liquidity on Ethereum, we have a liquidity on Solana, we have liquidity on Cardano. But actually, we don't need to move this liquidity between the chains. The Kylix hub knows that there is liquidity because we are using a messaging system, of course, to notify that a deposit withdrawal has been executed. But Kylix is abstracting the lending logic to offer interoperability between chains. So you, Kristen, you will be able to lend tokens on Solana and borrow tokens on Ethereum. So lend on chain A and borrow on chain B, and vice versa. Lend on chain B and borrow on chain A. So this is how the innovation that we're bringing on the market.
Okay, just the message. Don't have to, bridge and wrap anymore.
Exactly. We're just messaging.
Yeah, and for a lending and borrowing protocol, the tokens that you're gonna support is very important. So, because you support Ethereum, Solana, and Polkadot, so which tokens are you gonna launch first?
The lending? No, this is a really good question. Actually, it's strictly related actually to our strategic vision. We will start for sure with Polkadot, of course, because we're built with Polkadot. So we support Polkadot tokens, and we will support. We launched our project with the support of Solana and Cardano. Those are the three main chains we will support initially. Then later point, we'll support other chains, and we are honestly still deciding which there will be, but. For us, it will be very important to support chains where the DeFi ecosystem is still not so, let's say, saturated, because in Ethereum, there are already dozens of lending protocols. We want to support all chains that at the moment they are getting attention, but they still don't have a DeFi ecosystem very developed, So we will probably support Sui, Sei, Bear chain, and all these chain that are increasing. They're getting increasing the interest for the community.
Okay. So we're gonna be. So that's the one. That's a logic that why you choose Cardano as your first bunch of token.
Oh, yeah, that's a really good point. Actually. I can tell you something about my experience with the Cardano Foundation. They're very nice people, really good vibes. I really enjoyed to talk with them, and I see that there are a lot of efforts to connect Cardano outside the Cardano ecosystem. Even with Polkadot. So it felt somehow a bit natural, to include the Cardano, in our offer, because Cardano is really rich of developer liquidity. There is anyway a lot of interest about the technology. Somehow we started part of the, let's say, Cardano, how the fundamental anyway, even in the Polkadot Blockchain Academy. And so yeah, this is why we wanted to support Cardano as well.
Okay, when we talk about the lending and borrow protocol, and I asked the ChatGPT that who is the top one, and the answer is I'm not sure he gives me the right answer, but he tells me that the AAV and Compound are the top two. So because do you ever set up a goal that we want to surpass them, or you don't care about
No, I mean you need to consider that we offer something slightly different than Aave and Compound. I mean our protocol itself somehow gets inspiration from Compound, especially in lending pool utilization rate, interest rate. But you have to consider that those protocols, Aave and Compound, are multi-chain protocol. Meanwhile, we are cross-chain. This is a very important difference. It means that Aave and Compound, they support multiple chains, but they are cloned in every chain they support. So you have an EVM Aave version of Ethereum and EVM Aave version of Optimism, Arbitrum, and so forth. So it means that you have clones of the protocol that they don't talk to each other. Meanwhile, we offer cross-chain interoperability, so you are actually allowed to lend on one chain and borrow on another one. So this is the main difference between us and a project like Aave Compound. Second thing, they are projects on EVM. We are actually a blockchain. So we have on-chain logic, on-chain structure. We are a whole blockchain. We can do this thanks to Substrate. That is our main component to build our project. And so we can reach a speed of execution that this protocol cannot have. And also we have some additional unique selling proposition. Compared to Aave, we have an collateral marketplace. So we not only allow users to behave as lenders or borrowers, but also as liquidators, so they can actually buy a piece of collateral for a discount. And last but not least, it's our self-repay loan mechanism. So we have an internal mechanism that we allow user to just get a loan and forget it. So you don't have to repay it because the collateral will be converted into an interest-bearing token, and the value generated by the inflation mechanism, by the dilution of the token, will repay back the debt position. So a user has a loan with negative interest rates. So those are the main difference between Aave and Compound and Kylix.
Okay. So Kylix can achieve this. How much does the Polkadot infrastructure contribute to that? Can a Kylix happen on other chains? If Kylix deploy on Sui or on other chains, can Kylix achieve this function?
That's a good point. The point is that on Kylix is 100% built on Substrate. So and it's connected. It's a parachain. So we are officially connected to the Polkadot relay chain. The liquidity vaults that are deployed on a different chain, they are built with EVM compatible language, so they're not built on Substrate. But those are acting as smart liquidity nodes, smart liquidity vaults. They talk with the Kylix blockchain just to notify that a deposit has been executed, or a withdrawal needs to be executed as well. So let's say that our project is of course, 99.9% built on Substrate, except these smart liquidity vaults that are, of course, built with EVM-compatible language.
Okay, cool. Now let's talk about some, fancy topic like memes, because this is the center of the DeFi project. And
Yeah.
so, on Solana, meme tokens trading has become a significant activity. And, even centralized exchanges like Binance are actively trying to attract meme traders on their platform.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
do you see it as a short-term craze or deeply rooted culture in Web3 that will continue grow over time? Both of you can take that.
hmm No, I mean, it's a really interesting question, and it's somehow very correlated with the psychology of the user, Web3 user. So somehow, Web3 really reflect the risk appetite of a certain type of user, and the crypto itself is some crypto assets are speculative asset, so they can be very risky or less risky, but somehow in the trading there is always a little layer of risk that you need always to deal with. Somehow the meme coins are a divergence of this risk because are extremely speculative, and of course their value is just based on the underlying market, on the sentiment that a certain user has towards the meme coins. So all the question is for us: we will support the meme coins as a lending protocol? I think it's really important to give to the user what they want. So if a user, if a certain number of users, if a million user is asking, please support a meme coin of Solana, it's our interest to give, but also our interest, but their common interest to create a lending pool on a meme coin of Solana in order to increase the capital efficiency also of this meme coin. On the other side, we will never allow to create a collateral position on meme coins, because this would be too risky and would lead a user to be easily liquidated, especially due to the volatility of the asset. So I would say that yes, we support meme coins because we need to follow the market. Also, we will have a governance inside our system where a user will be able to suggest a specific asset to be supported by our lending markets. But we will always limit the risk for the user, so we will not allow them to create a collateralized position based on meme coins, because this will lead the user to be liquidated and to lose their asset. So it's really important for us to make a user feel secure.
Yes. So, Parkman, what's your take on that?
Yeah, meme coins is one of them things. You were asking if it's deeply rooted. I think to understand that, I think there is like two different types of like Web3 community. One, like people like, I would say me, for example, like people who are like really enthusiastic about technology. They want to see the blockchain adoption. They really want like the blockchain to be the next big thing, which I believe it's going to be. And then there is people who in it just because they want to get rich overnight, or they've heard somebody made 10x or 20x on a meme coin, and that's just because obviously due to financial gains and stuff, people see this as a very attractive, a very kind of a shortcut to get rich. And this is the problem. When people get too greedy, then obviously there are risks as well, and you can always lose all the money you invest. And this is the problem. I think I'll give you a small example. So my nephew is 14 years of age. He goes to school. His friends are already, into meme coins. They're like buying and selling. And, the other day he was telling me he's made like £70 by just £20. I live in the UK, so our currency is pounds. So by just £20 investment, he's made a 70, which was 3.5x. And he's only 14, So I asked him what he understands about blockchain, what he understands about crypto. He had no clue. He just knows that this is the website you go onto. This is how you make a wallet. This is how you this is how you buy a meme coin. That's all he knows. And the reason,
it's very similar to gambling at the end.
Yeah, exactly. So this is, and the reason he's into that is because he's obviously learned from this trend that you can get into meme coins and you can get rich or you can make money. Unfortunately, the blockchain enthusiasts, like for example, Polkadot is not going to make you rich overnight. Even though it's going to solve a lot of problems and things like that. But the meme coins have this thing, so it's always going to be, answering your question, it's always going to be deeply rooted, and unfortunately, because the gains that come with it, the attraction that has attached to it. But in terms of the trend and stuff, there are some meme coins that we see that have, a kind of established a very active community. They've established a little bit of reputation as well. So they're not as your, standard meme coins where, community gets rugged and stuff. Personally, I'm not keen on them. I just think meme coins are absolutely useless. They shouldn't be in this trade at all, because some of them, the main concern that I have usually is like people who lose a lot of money on meme coins will not just go out and say don't buy meme coins. They will just say don't buy crypto, and there's just like a blanket kind of idea, and sort of like a blanket perception they give out to, like, oh, crypto's a scam, even though meme coins are the scam. But they just kind of puts a blanket over the whole efforts and everything that we're all doing. So I feel like maybe not regulations, but I feel like there should be some sort of kind of a barrier between a meme coin and crypto, where you can't just like mix the two in one sentence. It's like they're both the same thing.
Okay, I agree with you. But let me ask this question in another way. That is, if Polkadot, never have meme coins, any kind of meme coins, like AI agent meme coins, which is very trendy recently, that's gonna influence, that's gonna, for Polkadot, it's gonna lose some opportunity, or it doesn't matter for Polkadot?
I want to answer this first, because I don't think Polkadot community is bothered about meme coins, because we've had, I won't mention names, but we had 3 or 4 on Polkadot so far. One of them, I'll actually mention, the Pink, which had which was really interesting. Actually, that was the only meme coin I ever got involved in, and it's not because I wanted to get rich or something, but their game was actually good. I don't know, Kristen, do you remember Pink? The game you had to play, the dropping. So that was like really good. You had like, you're dropping all these logos and stuff, and it was very interactive. And then you get some tokens over it. Something like that would have been really good success. But like overall, I think Polkadot community is more into technology and like what we can solve. Meme coins have not been heavily welcomed in Polkadot, and that's because Gavin openly also said once that basically same thing, that meme coins are useless, and along with NFTs and other stuff that he's not very keen on. And so I don't think Polkadot's missing any opportunity. I actually kind of feel like we're doing it well by keeping away from them. So we're actually protecting our community.
Maybe I want to add a thing. Kylix itself is a project that wants to solve the liquidity fragmentation that is caused by the increasing number of new blockchain. But actually having multiple blockchain means that we have a blockchain that can be used for different purposes. So Solana nowadays is the meme coin blockchain. So it's a blockchain for meme coin. Also, BetaChain is another blockchain for meme coins. Polkadot, it is not a platform for meme coins. Let's say Polkadot is the platform for the serious stuff. Let's look at it this way. But the blockchain that probably will change the future, or how we know it. So, I agree with Pacman. I don't think Polkadot is missing anything with not supporting big meme coin culture community.
Yes, I cannot agree more with you. Because I think meme is just a use case. Some people likes it, but it doesn't mean that every people loves it, and this is the only thing that people loves. So I agree with John Liuji. Yeah. I think Polkadot don't have to go this trendy stuff. He have his own advantage, and the Kylix can make up for other chains that cannot do and cannot focus on. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And for the for Kylix and the no bridge lending and borrowing is one stuff, and is there other advantages that you are doing much more better than others?
As I said before, actually we have 2 additional unique selling proposition. One is the collateral lending marketplace, and the second one are the self-repaying loan. Those are the biggest difference. Maybe I can make a quick example of what is a collateral marketplace. In the moment, let's say you, Kristen, are lending some token, and Pacman is borrowing your token, but is not repaying them. You have a problem because the liquidity, your liquidity has been taken by Pacman. So the system itself is taking the collateral that Pacman put deposit on the platform, and it's offering to a lot of users to behave as liquidators. Liquidators, it means they can essentially use a marketplace. They can bid on for a piece of collateral and buy a piece of collateral for a discount below the price of the market value. It means that whoever is able to buy this piece of collateral is able to obtain an asset below the market price, and in this way, this person has an arbitrage opportunity. In this way, the marketplace is not doing, let's say, a swap, through a market maker. Is essentially offering user to buy the collateral, and in the moment they buy the collateral, they replenish, the loan that has not been repaid by Pacman, and you, Krista, you can withdraw your loan, say, anytime. So your loan is secured in a decentralized way. This is actually the main innovation that we bring. There is not only the cross-chain interoperability, and also we have self-repay loans. As I mentioned before, is a system that allow user to get a loan and completely forget it. You get a loan, you just put some collateral, and you can just wait that the collateral itself is repaying back the loan, the debit position plus the interest. So you don't need to repay back the loan. In the moment the loan anyway has been repaid, you can withdraw back your collateral, and you got, of course, a loan essentially for free. So this is the main innovation that we bring on the market, together with the ambitious plan of the cross-chain interoperability.
I just want to add to that. So before, before Kylix even existed, I'm talking a few years back, in the early days of Parachain. I've always been a user of DeFi protocols. I've always enjoyed the lending and borrowing and stuff, and I've always kind of every time I used to have like a loan or something, I always used to think, oh, this experience could be better. And now, like how Gianluigi explained collateral markets and your self-repaying, for a really kind of enthusiastic DeFi person, this is heaven. This is basically something that no other protocol is doing. And not only that, this is actually, imagine if you have taken a loan and you don't have to pay, it's just basically paying off itself, and then your collateral is still there as well. So you basically got all that money for free, which you can invest and you can do loads of other stuff, which I don't think any other protocol is doing. So this is the most unique selling points that we have, the innovations.
Okay, I think that Kylix have a really amazing product regarding the marketing and the business stuff. And do you have some ideas, business for the Kylix, and is different from other protocols? So what's your feelings and to that?
Yeah, so in terms of business, we've actually, I don't know if you've seen our recent announcements, we've actually had a lot of new partnerships with so many different projects within the Polkadot ecosystem and outside Polkadot ecosystem as well. Because especially talking about first within the Polkadot ecosystem. So I want, again, like I said earlier, I'm one of them people that just solely believes in working together, and just basically everybody lives in peace and harmony. So we've basically had partnerships with Stellar Swap, for example, which is going to be very beneficial. Hyperbridge, Mandala Chain as well. We're going to provide DeFi services in Indonesia, and as you know, Mandala Chain is working with on the fourth largest population in the world. So these partnerships are going to be really good for not just marketing. I'm not talking some social media marketing. I'm talking actual marketing that brings you users and enhances your community as well. And then we're going to continue to build more partnerships. There's actually 2-3 very huge partnerships that we're talking about, which I can't disclose just yet because of privacy stuff. But once they've actually finalized, then we'll be announcing more partnerships in the future as well. And we, in coming days, in coming 2025, we will potentially have more partnerships within the Polkadot ecosystem, supporting other parachains. And that's all. This is the whole kind of, Gavin's vision was about the parachains. That it's not just like one project building on its own, but it's like a whole Polkadot family where you can support each other. This is why the interoperability and all that stuff. So there will be loads of parachains, but not just with the view of marketing, but like another way supporting the ecosystem and having like a bigger community, not just for one project, but everybody involved.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you have some plans for bringing some Web2 users directly to your protocol? Or just to pop up this idea on my mind.
The problem, well, you can call it a problem. The issue is because of the regulations and DeFi protocols are that's like one of the big things that you have to. So we can't just openly go to a Web2 user and say like, hey, this is a really good protocol, you should get involved, because then we're given financial advice. So we're very limited to what we can do. I think I love the idea of bringing Web2 users in, but I think that probably wouldn't happen anytime soon. At the start, we would launch the project, we will have our Web3 community, and then slowly, eventually, we won't directly approach Web2 users, but like build a protocol in such an attractive and such a successful manner that a new user would automatically want to explore you or automatically want to be a part of that. But Gianluigi comes from Web2, so let's hear his view. Like, what would you think about Web2 users?
No, that's absolutely actually what you said, Pacman. And I also wanted to add the fact that Kylix has always been the aim to be disruptive, and we want to be disruptive also in our offer. And we are leveraging other parachain or other service value proposition in order to combine their off services together with ours to create a new product that don't exist yet on the market. For instance, we are talking now with a service that is offering real world assets, and we would like to create new lending pools that are where you are able to lend and borrow real world assets. The point is, of course, we are starting now on, as Pacman mentioned before, our regulation part, but what we need actually to achieve is to offer something that other protocols now are not offering, thanks to the help of our partnership. So we do partnership and we create new unique selling proposition, value proposition. And especially this is extremely important to get closer and closer to the traditional finance. Actually, a partnership that we have, I can disclose, is the one with Pendulum. They have on and off ramping layer that we will integrate in order to offer, an additional product that make easier for Web2 user to get into our Web3 protocols. So this is just one example, but there are a lot of partnership that we are discussing, thinking with actual products that are not only in the blockchain sphere, but they're closer to the traditional finance in order to offer services that are closer to the Web2 users. And this is, I think, really the direction where we need to move, getting closer to Web2 user and traditional finance.
Yes. But as a normal user, just typical trading, typical user in Web3. So I'm considering is that how easy is your protocol? For
Have you ever used the Aave or Compound?
Oh no.
It's easier.
I only use the lending and stuff on Binance.
Okay.
For
It will
people
be
like
similar.
me, it's gonna be easy.
No, understand. We will create an experience that is very similar to the one of centralized exchange, because at the very end, everyone is using centralized exchange because they're very easy to use, And this is our aim. This is what we want to achieve. Web3 protocol that is easy to use as a centralized exchange.
Okay, I'm happy about that. Okay.
But we will
Uh,
create anyway some. Sorry,
no, sorry.
we create. No, we'll create anyway some part to educate the user how to use our protocol, even some videos. We will do actually. We will put the efforts to make the experience as lean as possible for our new users, especially.
Yes,
Yeah,
I'm
that's
really
what
happy
I
about
wanna
that.
add as well. Sorry, just to like, we're not just going to create a protocol and forget about it. We'll be actively involved in it. So we already have a very active community. So during the launch and after the launch, we will do regular like educational video content. For example, if somebody
Yeah.
wants to understand how to borrow, how to lend. For you and me, for example, Kristen, like we've used this, so we know straightforward like what to do. But for somebody new that comes to like, so we're gonna do it as like a video for dummies. So somebody who doesn't understand anything at all, so it'll be like a very basic video on how to do this, how to do this. So we will be doing a lot of stuff as well. So it might, like for somebody, it might come across as some not easy to understand, but our job is to make sure that is going to be easy to understand, and we'll always be involved in making sure community understands.
Yeah, thank
Also
you
with
for your
tutorials.
answer. Yeah, I care about this part because, even though I don't try, RV or something, but I tried other protocols, lending protocols, but I lost the money. I forgot the procedures and something. I think it's typical for me. I think I tried some decks. I think I'm kind of, not a totally fresh people, but it's sometimes hard for me to follow all the procedures. I don't know where my money is. So I care about this point very much. So I hope that Kylix can make a product that very, very easy for people to use. And like we are lending some monies on centralized decks, that's gonna be perfect.
I just want to add, if you don't know where your money is, Kristen, you must have a lot of money.
Oh, okay. So I'm very looking forward the launch of our product. So could you tell us, when it's gonna be launched, the TGE time, and what's have to be done before the TGE happening?
Sure. So, so far, actually, we are in progress with our development. We already committed our second milestone to decentralized future. That is the grant that is supporting us, the development of Kylix. We are very close to close the milestone 3 for a total of 5. So yeah, our plan is to release the platform in Q2 2025. The thing that we really need to work on is the auditing part. So the first thing actually we will do will be to open our testnet platform to a certain amount of users, so that we'll be able to try the product. We will get their feedback. We will do a few iterations with them in order to understand which parts we can make better or simpler to use. And resolve, of course, any bugs, if any. And second thing will be for us to execute all the auditing, on the code. So those are the most, let's say, important milestone for us. And second, we will release anyway our product in Q2 2025. So we expect April, May of 2025 to have our live product. Yeah.
Wow. I think that time Jam is about to launch totally. I think.
Yeah. Just before we go forward, I just want to also mention that we'll launch our testnet. We will actually invite users to participate in our testnet and do some tests, and we'll also reward users for doing that as well. So if anybody listening and wants to get involved, and once we make the announcement, please follow our social media, Twitter and Telegram and Discord, and we will be making an announcement. So once the testnet goes live, you will have the chance to have the first-hand experience of this protocol, and then we will be rewarding users for choosing it and sharing any feedback and stuff.
Okay, cool. Time flies. I think to wrap up our interview today, I think the last question, let's gonna, talk about the 2025, the Trump, the Trump is going to take the office, and some people predict that the market might decline, afterwards due to the sales news effect. Of course, the market is always a two-side game, and people will talk both sides. So what's your take on the micro outlook of next year, particular with Trump's anticipated impact?
Well, on my side, actually, I can say that I'm personally see it pretty positive. The fact that now, I mean, Trump was elected. Speaking about cryptocurrencies, because his let's say vision about. I mean, Trump had never been against crypto. Like say his opponent Biden. So when Trump was elected, the market, we can see that the markets reacted very well on this news, because somehow America has been always been somehow controversial position about crypto, because regardless, many companies, crypto companies are, when they say America, there are a lot of strong regulations that are imposed by SEC. So many people are actually not allowed to use crypto or getting paid in crypto, or they're not even allowed to use DeFi protocols if you are a USA citizen. So, but anyway, crypto itself is it's something that nowadays is extremely spread, and many people are using it. So somehow that Trump, show his support, for crypto, had a really good impact on the market. I mean, much more than it would have had if Biden were elected. So, I mean, I cannot predict the future, of course, but somehow I have a positive sentiment about this political situation.
Yeah, cool. How about you, Parkman?
First of all, it's a very good question. Overall sentiment is positive, but I want to add, I'm a little bit disappointed on the whole scenario, because the whole point of crypto, if you look into like Satoshi Nakamoto, like the very original, the main people of the crypto, it was more about power to the people. It was more about control of the people. But now, unfortunately, we've moved into an era where we're affected by the American elections. It's affected by the lockdown. But it was actually, the whole crypto was, it was meant to be like kind of immune to all these sort of things. It was basically, the power was meant to be in the people. But now we're actually controlled by what happens in the stock markets, what happens in the other traditional markets, and American elections. So I'm a little bit disappointed. They shouldn't have been like that, but unfortunately, it's going that way. But like Gianluigi said, Trump has always been one of the best people to kind of support crypto. It's like one of the best people in the politics. And the one thing I'm looking forward to is like the ease of regulations, because that's one thing that has always been a barrier between Web 2 and Web 3. Because like Web 2 users, Web 2 users, it has to be like such a hard transition, such a hard sort of like process for them to come into Web 3, because there was so much FOMO about there's so much tax, and there's so much scams and stuff like that. So Trump is actually talking about regulating some of the stuff, bringing into bringing crypto adoption into hands of Web 2 people. So I'm looking forward to that side of things. That'll be really good. So we might not see an immediate effect. We might not see I don't know, markets going really high up and blah, blah, blah. But then, like in the long term, this is like the foundation where we will always remember that, Trump came in and, these are the policies and regulations he made, which basically then led on to like a mass adoption and, bringing in a lot of people and a lot of users. So in that sense, I'm very bullish and positive, not bullish talking about markets, but like bullish on blockchain adoption and, on the overall future of crypto.
Okay, cool. And yeah, we're very positive to the year of 2025. And I think this is the end of our interview. And I recommend everybody to follow Kylix for the testament, for the TG, for everything amazing that's gonna be happen soon. And for Porkword, we will try to translate some articles to our Chinese community, and we will still keep an eye on Kylix for the following, important milestones, and very looking forward to, make everything about Kylix a great success in 2025. And I think that's all for today. And thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you, Christian. It was a pleasure.
Thank you, Christian, because you've always put a lot of effort in supporting the projects in Polkadot, and I think you personally yourself, you don't get enough recognition and gratitude from everybody. So I want to thank you, and I wish that there is a way in future that we can support Polka World as well, and help you spread the wider world. Also, I'll personally invite you, once our testnet is live, I will personally invite you to take part in this and share your experience. And I'll make sure that's a good experience and it's easy to understand for you as well. So
and I won't lose any custom token.
Definitely, I'll happily invite you, and it'll be nice to have your feedback as well, because this is what we're looking for as well, like an average user's feedback to see like how we can improve. So I believe that that'll be a nice kind of conversation to have once we're near TGE.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I totally support this.
Yeah, well, thanks very much, and Happy New Year when it comes. And for anybody listening, I wish you all guys, the very best of luck for future, and hopefully that we all get our dreams and things that we're trying to achieve. Hopefully we achieve them.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Christian. It was really a pleasure.
See you next time.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.